Hey kids, welcome back to Fort Carson Kids Time. I'm Chaplain Jonathan Court, and this is my wife, Alyssa. Today we're going to be talking about how Jesus was serving others. Our verse for today is from John chapter 13. It's John 13:15, and it says, I have set an example for you that you should do as I have done for you. Why don't you say that with me a few times? John 13:15. I have set an example for you that you should do as I have done for you. Good job. We're going to do it two more times. John 13:15. I have set an example for you that you should do as I have done for you. One more time. John 13:15. I have set an example for you that you should do as I have done for you. Good job.
So when you're thinking about that, as I'm telling the story, I want you to think about that verse. And that was something that Jesus had said to his disciples. And I want you to figure out when he said that and what he did that he wanted his disciples to do as well. Well, the story starts out with the disciples and Jesus celebrating a holiday called Passover. And they decided to go to an upper room and have a special dinner. Well, they got to the upper room and they started to eat their dinner. Now, that doesn't sound unusual to us, but there's something that was missing that would have been normal for the people at that time. You see, they used to wear sandals. That was all they wore. And their roads, they weren't paved like our roads. They were dirty, dusty roads. And they lived in the desert. So lots of times when they got to somebody's house before they ate dinner, there would be a servant who would wash everybody's feet so that they were nice and clean to enter the house. And because it felt nice after a long trip walking. Well, this house, however, had no servant that did it. So the disciples and Jesus were sitting down to eat, and they still had their dusty, dirty feet. So as they're eating dinner, something unusual happens. Jesus gets up, and he takes off his outer garment. Now that's important because that was showing everybody that Jesus was like being humble, like going to do something that was going to be a little messy. So he's like, let me take off my outer garment. And it also says that he got ready to wash the disciples' feet. He got some water, he got a towel, and he was ready to wash his disciples' feet. He went around and he washed every disciple's feet. And the disciples, they were confused because Jesus at the time was like a celebrity. And the disciples knew that Jesus was the Son of God. And yet he was the one to wash everybody's feet. And that made them feel kind of bad in a way because they should have thought to do that at least for Jesus because he was so important. But no, they didn't even think about it. They weren't thinking about serving others. They were only thinking about themselves. But Jesus, he was thinking about others. And he decided to be the one to do something kind of dirty and yucky. Can you think of where the verse came in now? So let me say it again. It was John 13:15. And it said, I have set an example for you that you should do as I have done for you. Now, he said that to the disciples. And do you think he really meant that we and the disciples should be washing everybody's feet when they're dirty? Maybe, because that is a stinky, smelly job. But what he was really meaning, the bigger picture, was that that the disciples were to look for people to serve, even if it was not the best job, even if it wasn't glamorous, even if it was dirty and smelly. You should find out who you can serve to show that others that they were part of they were Jesus' disciples. And we can take the same principle too, because if you are a Christian, we're disciples of Jesus as well, and we can choose to serve others and look for wanting to do something better for others rather than just thinking about ourselves.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. What a great story, wasn't it? We're going to look at the story again here with some pictures. Just as a summary, it says Jesus ate a meal with his disciples. Jesus knew he would go back to God. So he got up and removed his robe. Jesus picked up a bowl. He washed the feet of his disciples. Then Jesus put on his robe again. I washed your feet, Jesus said. I washed your feet to show you that you must serve one another. Jesus said, I washed your feet to show that you must serve one another. That's just like our verse today. We have a few questions for you. The first one is this. What were Jesus and his friends doing that day? Do you remember what Alyssa said? What the disciples and Jesus were doing that day? Yeah, they were celebrating a holiday. Good job. They were up in the upper room celebrating a holiday called Passover. What did Jesus do for his disciples? Yeah, he washed their feet. What does Jesus want us to do for others? What does Jesus want us to do for others? That's right. He wants us to serve them. He wants us to think about others before we think about ourselves. It's putting other people first. Who are some people that you can serve? Yeah, I'm sure we're all going to have different answers here, but if you're having a hard time thinking of someone, maybe you could serve and show kindness to your family, a family member. Maybe that's a brother, sister, mom, or dad. You do something special. You could also show kindness and serve a friend. And if not that, you could also serve a neighbor.
So we're going to do an activity today, and you need a piece of paper and a pen or pencil. Also a crayon or a colored pencil will work too. So first thing is you're going to actually draw your foot. So that's what I did right here. I put my foot on the paper and then I just traced it around. And that's it. Now if you can cut it out if you want, or just leave it on the paper. The next step is you are going to write inside the foot of certain people that you think that you could serve. If you think that, like Jonathan said, like a family member, well, write down a family member. Maybe you write your mom. Maybe you write your sibling's name. Maybe you can write the name of your neighbor that you think you could serve. Write everybody that you can think of that you could serve, that you could do something for them, even when it's not the best job that you would want to do. Something extra that you could do for them. So, when you're finished with that, you should have your foot filled up with all different names. Then you're going to circle one name that you are going to do this week to serve them. So pick one name that you are going to work on serving and circle it. Then next to it, you can, on the outside of the foot, next to the name, you can write or draw how you are going to serve them. Maybe if it's your sibling, you could clean up their toys for them, even when they're the ones that made the mess. That would be serving. Or if it's your mom or your dad, you could help them clean up in the bathroom, even though it's a stinky, smelly job. Or if it's your neighbor, you can help maybe pick weeds in their yard. Whatever it is, write it down so that you can remember what you're going to do to serve them this week.
Yep. I said for Grace, I'm going to serve her by getting her a snack. We've had a great time today here with Fort Carson Kids Time being with you, and had a great story, wonderful lesson about serving others and thinking about others before ourselves. We look forward to being with you again next week, Fort Carson Kids Time. Bye.